Hey everyone, it is time for some more maintenance. So my next video I was planning on doing was going to be on the fork and shock of my muscle bike, the Specialized Stumpy. But instead, I was riding yesterday and I was coming down a hill and I had a catastrophic failure in my rear tire here. It just completely blew out. And so it looks like I need to go ahead and replace this rear tire. So that is what today's video is going to be about. So sit back and enjoy. Here, I'm going to grab the camera here and give you a close-up of what actually has happened to the rear tire here. All right, here is a kind of a close-up, and let me, you can tell like I lost pretty much everything, all the sealant, everything all at once. And what basically happened, let me see if I can find it here. There we go. So if we take a closer look here, get this focused in on that spot here, and I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can kind of show the nice tear that kind of happened here. So this tire is unsavable. Not even a there we go, that's a better look. Not even a plug could save this thing, and you can kind of see the tires already getting pretty worn. That's the problem with e-bike tires. They don't go they don't last as long as you'd like them to. And looking at the front tire here, of the rot here on the front tires here, let's take a look at this one right here. You can kind of see how they're all ripping off. So they aren't gonna last much longer. So before I take off the wheels and replace the tires, let's go ahead and clean the bike. You can see it's pretty dusty. I won't put you through me washing another bike on video, so I will go ahead and just do a quick clean. I'll start with the drivetrain real quick and clean off the rest of the bike. Okay, I'm going to make you suffer through me cleaning at least the drivetrain here as I talk a little bit about the bike itself. This is my Pivot Shuttle LT. It is a couple years old now, and it has the Shimano EP801 motor. And with that, I have to put in a little a hex wrench here to actually be able to pedal backwards here. So let me go ahead and just get the dust and dirt off this thing here. Interesting thing with this bike as I pedal backwards is that if I rotate it enough times, the motor just turns on. It's one of these odd behavior things. I thought maybe it may have been an issue with the first motor, and on the second motor it has the same issue. So obviously I'll have stories to tell about my adventures with the original motor, which went bad very quickly. And I'm on a second motor and battery. I had some issues with the whole first setup. I basically bought a lemon of a bike. Not that the bike was an issue. The bike itself is fine, but it's just the motor and the battery were bad. So pretty much everything's been replaced on this bike here. All right, let me just get this a little bit more here. So anyway, this is the bike. It has a Shimano XTR drivetrain, and pretty much everything on this thing is XTR, except for the cassette, that's XT. And it handles quite well. I really do like this bike. If it wasn't for the motor issues, this thing would be perfect. All right, I think that is good enough for now. Let me just get the chain ring a little. Oh, oops. Great. Now I just broke off my my cleaning thing here. Let me just clean this off a little bit here just to get it started. We'll do the rest of it a little bit later. But again, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the bike. Just to mention too, also it has not only is it XTR build, it's a Team XTR build. It has a Fox 38 factory and a Float X factory as well. The only thing, it did come with a transfer factory as well, but that thing just isn't a good dropper post, and so I replaced it with a PNW. Let me see if I can even see that here. Let me lift this up a little bit here. You can see I got this nice neat silver PNW dropper post for it. So all right, now I'm going to go ahead and get these wheels off. Take that off. All right, let's all right, pop open the clutch. All right, let's get these wheels off here. Okay, so a little bit, what else can I say about this bike here as I'm taking off? So yeah, I bought the bike a couple years ago, and I've had, yeah, obviously a few problems with the Shimano EP801 motor. The Pivot and Bike Shop and everybody has been pretty kind to me and helping me get those things replaced and fixed. It's kind of interesting. Shimano's point of view is they basically will take they'll basically kind of start from one step and then work up and up and up until everything is fixed. So the first thing they did was like replace the harness. Next, they would replace, when that didn't actually solve the problems that I was having. And the problems themselves are like basically the bike would just shut down and stop working. So it would not even throw an error code or anything. So they replaced the harness, seemed to work okay. It wasn't consistent. It was very inconsistent. So you just never knew when it can happen again. So, all right, come on. Let's get this off here. Okay, come on. I don't think this is a pinch bolt. Oh, that's nice and loose. Yeah, something to do with the... All right, as I'm struggling to get this front wheel off, let me explain Shimano's policy when it comes to fixing an e-bike. They basically first start with the wiring harness, and if the wiring harness does not solve the problem, they move on to the battery. If the battery doesn't solve the problem, then they move on to the motor. So basically, I had gone through all 3 steps. In fact, I'm actually on my 3rd wiring harness, so you can tell that there is an issue with their wiring harnesses since they tend to go out quite a bit. But right now, everything is somewhat working, although right now I do get these random reboots, and I think, again, it probably has something to do with the wiring harness. But at least the motor and the battery seem to be working fine. Now, as I struggle with the front wheel, let me just explain. It is the top cap that is the issue for the hub, and I'll discover that in just a second. Had that issue before. Oh well. Learn something new here. I'll get it all cleaned up. And ooh, wait a second. That definitely looks like a bent axle. Oh, there it goes. Okay. This must be, oh, that's all. It's just the friggin' top cap. Okay, that explains it. Okay, so apparently the top cap was off or a little bit, but everything else looks fine here. Yeah, everything's good. Okay, simple explanation. Come on. See if we can get this back. Pop on. There it goes. Okay. All right. That problem's fixed. Okay. Let's go ahead and get these tires out of the way, and let's clean up the bike. Before I continue any further, just to kind of see when that thing kind of blew. Usually, like when you get a small leak and it kind of just sprays out, and usually it kind of seals up. But since this one kind of just went flat right away, and I was going down like maybe a little over 20 miles an hour down on a downhill, and and it just it just flatted out. It didn't spray all over my back like the previous time I had gotten a puncture in the rear tire. So again, just kind of all lost it at once. So definitely needs some cleanup in here. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. All right, this is my rear tire, as you can tell. The the tire itself is a Maxxis Minion DHR2. It is a EXO Plus casing, and usually that's been fine in the desert for all my previous bikes, but this particular rear tire has kind of suffered a bit. The original bike came with Assegais both front and rear, and they both and actually they've been fine. But I'm used to riding a Minion in the back, so I figured, hey, why not just switch it out with a Minion instead? Well, maybe I'll kind of stick with the a more aggressive tire in the back. I don't know if that was the problem, because again, this has the same casing as the front tire, but back tires tend to have more issues, so that's probably what happened. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing popped off here. All right, what a mess. Oh, well, I guess this is going away now. All right, let me go ahead and what a mess. Let me check the taping and stuff like that. I recently had broken a spoke and had that fixed because I didn't have all the capability to do it here, and it's looking like this is just literally a couple weeks ago, so the it looks really good. The tape is perfect, actually. I'm not going to complain at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and just spray this thing off, get it cleaned off a little bit here. In fact, I'll do it right now. Good old sealant everywhere. Gotta love it. All right. That's much. I'll be wiping this stuff off for weeks. All right. Try to get as much gunk out of the valve stem area. But overall, this is looking good. Okay. The wheels themselves, they're these DT Swiss. They come with the actually quite nice hubs. The hubs are the 240 DT Swiss 240 hybrid hubs. They're straight pull. That's why I didn't have the tools to be able to replace that spoke myself. But it looks good. The rim itself is a HX 1501 hybrid. It's just an aluminum, meant for, I guess the HX series are meant for e-bikes to kind of take some more abuse. So again, it took me 2 years to break a spoke, and I actually on my regular bikes I haven't broken spokes in years, but with an e-bike, just everything just happens faster. Everything wears out faster. That's just the way it is. Okay, let's go ahead and clean off the other wheel. All right, This wheel, let me flip it over here so you can actually read it, is a Maxxis Assegai, and that was what was on the front of, or that's again what I said was in the front and the rear. So I think this is just my second, or I think this is my second one. All right, I'm gonna pop this thing off so hopefully you can see I don't lose it there. There we go. This in here. Okay. That looks good. Oh yeah, let me just go ahead and get this. I can find my. There we go. All right. I really like the Maxxis tires. I mean, I've been using them forever. They're really easy to set up. You know, they pop on really well. They seat really well. No complaints whatsoever. But you know, you get to a time when you want to try something new. So I'm going to, and I have tried something new on my other bike, but with this one, we're going to try some new tires on this. Okay, let me just spray this off real quick, dry it off, and then we can check out the new tires. Looking at this too, God, I think it still has its original DT Swiss tape in here, which is amazing. And it also looks really good. I'm not seeing any issues at all with this. This is looking good. Yeah, maybe a little bit right there, but I'm not going to retape this. I just want to go ahead and put the new wheels on, or the new tires, I should say, and go from there. All right. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and we'll start with the rear wheel again. Let that dry off a little bit more. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and break out the new tires. All right, and the new tire is going to be the Schwalbe Albert. So these are radial tires. So I want to go ahead and give them a try because at Maxxis doesn't right now have any of these radial tires. So the radial tire, if I can say that again, the radial tires are meant to be able to have more of a contact patch with the ground, and they actually are supposed to be so nice that you actually have to increase the PSI in the tires. So right now, like in my rear tire, I probably run on the e-bike, I probably run it around 24, maybe 25. So I'll increase it to 28, and with the front, I'll probably increase it from 22 to a 25. So we'll kind of see how that goes. So let's go ahead and unbox these puppies and see how well they sit onto the rims. Let's see how difficult these are to take out of their box. Huh? All right, throw that aside. Nice paper box. And, gosh, very nice rubber band here. Okay, I've never ridden Schwalbe before. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it. It's German. And I have a pair of gravel tires on my gravel bike that are Schwalbe, but all right, here they are now. These are both soft radial tires. I didn't want to get the ultra soft because that will probably be a little too wear out too quickly in the desert. So, all right. So let's see how. Like I'm so used to putting on Maxxis that I have like a trick I do to make sure I'm pointing the right direction. But looks like the rotation is this way, and with my bike I have it the opposite, so let's go with this way. So I guess it's going to be like this. Okay, and I must align the brand name with the valve core. There we go, like that. All right, so let's find out how well these things are going to sit. This could be very embarrassing for me to try to get this to sit on here. I'll try it from the top. Okay, come on. Getting close. All right, one side's on. Let's flip this puppy over. Okay. Whew. We'll work our way around. I know they have some tools to do this much better, but these are the what they call the Gravity Pro casing. So this is their extra strong casing, but heck, it's going on actually quite well. Come on, you can do it. Almost there. Come on. I did it without any tools. Can you believe that? All right. Okay, let us see if this thing can seat on there. So let me get my compressor and turn it on. So bear with me a moment as I do that. All right, as the compressor is filling with air, I'm going to go ahead and take off the valve core here, because to get this thing set in there, it's easier to do it without the core. So let's see how this thing pops on. All right. Actually, here, I'll just flip this around. All right, here we go. Wow, that was quite quiet. So look at that. That came on pretty good. Okay. All right, now that everything is set, usually most people will kind of throw in the sealant inside there, but I like to get the tire set first and then add the sealant. So let me go ahead and get my sealant. So for sealant, I use Orange Seal sealant. And I have my trusty Park Tool TSI 1, maybe? TS1? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go ahead. Okay, here we go. I like doing it this way because it just basically is less risk for making a huge mess. All right. It came out pretty good. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get our core valve prepared. Find it. Here we go. Here is one of the valves. All right, so what I'll do is I kind of fill it back up with air as much as I can anyway. Close to 40 pounds. Set that down and grab my core here. Here we go. Get that back on there. Okay. One thing, I have these muck-off valve stems, and it comes with a nice handy core removal tool in the cap, so it makes it very easy to get those things on there. There we go. Okay, that is on there. Okay, let us check our pressure here. Get this thing set up here. All right now it's at 30 pounds. I will adjust as necessary. But there we go, kind of do the spinny thing. And what I'm going to do is I'll take it on a quick ride up the mountain here and we'll do another test up there to make sure everything gets all sealed properly. But so far it looks good. Nice and pretty. All right. Let's go ahead and do the same thing to the front tire. Actually, before I should go ahead and check the tire pressure gauge here. Let's see. 26. So I actually want to go a little bit more in here. So let's add some more air. Okay, let's try again. All right, now it's at 30, so we want to go down to 28. All right, there's 28 right there. We are set. All right. One wheel down, one wheel to go. Okay, here we go. All right, got the one side down. Again, if we look at this correctly, we are going the wrong way, aren't we? Oh no, yes we are. We are going the right way. Good, okay. Whew. Okay. I wonder if these harder casings make it easier to kind of get on here, because I'm just amazed that it's going this well. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and seat or bead the thing here, or what is it? Seat the bead. Looks good on this side. I didn't even barely heard even a pop on that one. Amazing. Amazing. So quiet. Okay. All right. All right, let's go ahead and add our sealant. Okay, that is on there. Okay, Okay, let me get my all right, I got my valve core. Let's go ahead and add some more air to this puppy. All right, got my seal, or got my valve core back on there. Excellent. Let's tighten it up. All right, let's add some more air for what we lost. Okay, that is done. Let us roll it around. Okay. And we will, wait, let's go ahead and get the pressure to the right spot. This is the front tire. So I will take it up to, I think I said like, we'll try 25. So it's 31, that's way too low. Or way too high, did I say low? All right, let's get it down to, all right, 25. All right, we are ready to go ahead and wipe down these hubs and go ahead and get these back on the bike. Alrighty, let's go ahead and mount these tires back on the frame. These tires themselves are 2.5s, which were the original size of the Assegeis, and each of these manufacturers kind of have a slightly different version of what a 2.5 width is. So these do look a little narrower than the Maxxis, but it's hard to say. I mean, I could be mistaken. I used to run 2.6s all the time, but I decided to go with the 2.5s because it just didn't feel like it was really that necessary. So, all right, we will torque that down in a second. Let me go ahead and get the rear wheel. All right. Again, I really do prefer the SRAM way of moving that thing out of the way, but heck, of getting the chain out of the way. These the clutches, you have to undo the clutch on the Shimano's, but they're still kind of in the way. You have to kind of finagle it on there, but it worked. I'm actually gotten so used to them nowadays that it's that much of a problem. So, all right, and then of course the one thing I always forget to do is to turn the clutch back off. Okay, so that's on there. Let's get it up a few gears here. Okay, that is on there. Okay, I'll go ahead and torque these down, but it's looking good. I am impressed so far. Okay, front is 9 Newton meters. That was quick. Okay. Front is torqued. Rear is good old 15 Newton meters. Right about there. All right. That is complete. And there you have it. The bike is put back together again. All right, I'm going to go ahead and lube the chain and dry that off real quick. And then we'll give it a test ride. All right, so doing a quick 5-minute test ride on these tires doesn't really give any kind of review. But since actually installing the tires, I have actually ridden on them on one full ride, and they seem pretty good so far, so nothing to complain. I think I still need to play around with the tire pressure a little bit, but other than that, so far so good. So I'll give maybe a full review later on after I have a few more rides on these new tires, but I am happy with it. So thanks a lot for watching, and go ahead and have a great day.